Hi, for project 3, I created the model which identifies spam text messages and did so in Amazon Sagemaker, but utilizing Amazon Sagemaker's Spark library and Spark objects. As this is a Sagemaker project, it is focused around the notebook, and it's going to flow like any standard data science notebook. We're going to import the data, process the data, train the data, and evaluate. And where Spark becomes very powerful in this situation is in that pre-processing step. So I'm going to walk through it very quickly. Import some libraries, set up a Spark connection, which is a little different, and then load data in a Spark format, but generally still loading a CSV from a S3 bucket. But when we get to the pre-processing step, this is where Spark becomes very powerful. We're able to create a Spark pipeline object, a pipeline which is going to perform several consecutive actions, in this case, normalizing the text, tokenizing, removing stop words, transforming the term frequency vectorization. And you can export that step to a Spark Amazon EMR cluster and perform that step in a distributed environment, which is very useful. Then, this being SageMaker, we return that processed text in a Spark data frame, which is now just one column, which has our label, spam, no spam, and another column, which has a sparse vector representing our text message features. Now we have a data frame we can plug into a model. In this case, an XGBoost model produced by Amazon SageMaker that can take Spark data frame objects. And then after this, it's just like using SageMaker. We're going to train the model, we're going to deploy the model, and then we're going to evaluate. This model performed very well, accuracy 0.98, F1 0.9796, good ROC curve, good confusion matrix. And then we clean up our deployed endpoints. So in summary, using Spark and SageMaker is very powerful because you're able to decouple steps that can take different amount of processing power from each other. The pre-processing step, particularly in a large-scale text processing, is very repetitive and very tedious, which would work very well on a distributed Amazon EMR cluster. Then, when we've reduced that data to just a data frame, essentially, we can import it back into the SageMaker environment and train it on a SageMaker model. And depending on how large that data frame is, whatever the training instance we use it for can be the appropriate size. Maybe we use a GPU that we don't need for the training instance. And then once that model's trained, it's deployed, it's accessible at any time, and that's the beauty of using SageMaker. So using SageMaker and Spark together can be a very powerful tool and can work really well under certain circumstances where you really want to separate the tedious pre-processing step that can be molded into a pipeline and the training step. I highly recommend playing around with this. It's very fun. Thank you.